What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Abarth 595 Turismo C. C, of course, being the convertible. Right now, I'm driving with the roof closed, so you can probably hear me a little bit better, but I'll be honest, quietness isn't this car's strong suit. It's quite loud in here, whether it's the exhaust, the engine itself, the tires, or just overall wind noise. I wouldn't say this is a car for long distance cruising, but of course it's meant to be a sporty city type car. Now I'm here in the south of Spain to check it out, see what it is all about, and see how it performs in all kinds of areas. So let's go ahead and do that. So first things first, what you want to do when you get into this car, in my opinion, immediately is press the sport mode. It's a little button on the dash labeled as a scorpion, and that makes the car so much more responsive, especially in this case because this being an automatic or more a robotic manual. I probably prefer the regular manual, by the way. I wish it had that, but it doesn't, unfortunately. But the gearbox is very slow, and putting it in sport mode does make it a little bit better overall. The shifts are still very slow and very unpredictable, in my opinion. One thing you could do to kind of a little bit fix that, though, is put it in manual mode. Then that way you can use the pedal shifters on the steering wheel, and again, they're not quick in any way, but they're not really meant to be. It's not a full-on automatic, but it does make it a lot better, and of course you can choose when you want the car to shift. Now as for speed, this is the Turismo version, which is kind of the mid-level. It has the 165 horsepower, I believe, engine, a little turbo engine it is. There's also 140 and 180 horsepower version, I believe. In any case, plenty of power for a car like this, because it's of course based on the Fiat 500, so it's light. The steering is quite heavy, I'd say. Good feeling, responsive. You do get a little bit of torque steering though if you push it too hard. And understeer is definitely a thing in this one as well. It has some good sport seats as well, which are nice. The suspension is quite stiff, but I mean, you can kind of expect that. It's a small car, it's sporty, of course, and it's quite low, so you do have to be careful on like bumps and such. But for the small city streets, or even for mountain roads, I think it's quite nice. I wouldn't want to do a long distance, like 3,000 mile journey in it. But on short journeys, it's absolutely fine. It can do highways just fine. Now, as far as equipment goes, I think this car has pretty much everything you need. Navigation, Bluetooth, air conditioning, etc., etc. The only thing that I am missing, as far as I'm aware, at least I couldn't find it quite yet, is cruise control. Maybe it's an option that this car doesn't have. I'm not quite sure. But as far as I'm aware, this one doesn't have it, or it's very well hidden. But in a way, it's not the most awful thing ever, because, well, it's not meant for long distance highway driving, so why would you really need cruise control to begin with? But I thought it was a little odd. Now, sound-wise, this car is kind of fun. It has this very sporty, loud little four-cylinder noise, which is nice. I'll put in some clips so you can hear it for yourself. Now, another thing that I have noticed while driving this car is actually that it kind of auto shifts even in manual mode sometimes. Sometimes when it gets slightly lower in the rev range or slightly higher, it just upshifts or downshifts for you. And I don't understand why it does that. I'm not hitting the red line or I'm not going too low in any way, but it just decides to do something on its own. And it's kind of annoying because, well, sometimes you just want to drive and then I want to shift on my terms. And when I do that, it automatically shifts as well sometimes at the same time. And that means that sometimes you shift twice when you don't really want to do that. So again, it's a weird car, this one. I like it, it's good for city driving, but it's odd. It has its quirks for sure. And that way I'm sure like a Mini Cooper S or something is a lot more overall compliant and normal, so to say. But also in a way less exciting, I think, than this little, well, pocket rocket, really. Practicality wise, of course, this is a very small car, so the boot is quite small. The rear seats are, well, they're usable for kids or maybe for adults on very short journeys, but not long journeys for sure. And even in the front, you know, like headroom is actually fine, but it's not like major. Legroom too, it's everything is all right. It's not the best thing. It's small, of course, but the upside to it is it's very easy to park in any scenario. You can fit this car in pretty much anywhere. And because it's a small engine with a turbo, it does decent gas mileage as well. I can't really tell you how much, but it's only a 30-liter petrol tank, and well, I get quite a lot of miles out of it for sure, so I wouldn't worry about that one too much. Now, of course, this is a convertible, so this roof does open. It's not like a fully convertible where the side windows close back down and the side pillars go down as well. It's not like that, but it is a roof, and it does go all the way back. And let me show you how far it goes. So there's two settings really. Really, you can close it anywhere you want, but the first setting stops right here, as you can see. And then there is another setting if you push it again, and it goes all the way back down. You do lose visibility in the rear mirror pretty much, but it does open quite a lot. There's quite a lot of open air space. Now, I'll be honest, as you can see, I'm wearing a vest. It's not the warmest or the driest day ever here. It's actually quite wet and cold, which is unfortunate, but let's see how far we can get with the roof open. Now, of course, there is going to be a lot of wind noise like this, but it is what it is. It's not the best in terms of that either. You do get more than you probably should, and it's probably more wind noise as well in comparison to other convertibles that I've driven too. But of course, it is nice that you can drive like this. You really do feel a lot more. The sunshine, if there is any sunshine, of course, the wind in your hairs, sounds around you. You kind of feel like you're on a motorcycle, or maybe in a cart would be a better comparison. So overall, could I say that I recommend this car? Well, it really depends on your situation, because if you live in the city and you're just going to use it in the city and around the city, and you want something very sporty and maybe even a convertible included as well, then yes, I'd say it is worth it, but that's pretty much because it has, well, almost no competitors whatsoever. But if you're going to use this as an overall experience and your main car and for long distance, I probably look elsewhere, because again, it's not the most comfortable thing. It's loud. It doesn't, the seats are harsh. They're good for sports seats, but they're not good for long distance. And because of its quirks too, you know, like in a way it does give it personality, but it also makes it a little uncomfortable to live with if it's not your second car. Well, let me know what you think of this car. What are its competitors in your opinion? Did you drive this car ever? Do you like it? Do you maybe own this car? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye bye.